started here. I'm Lucas and this is Alicia, and today we're coming with you to assist in your goals to diversify the League of Women Voters and with your recruitment speeches. And the way we're going to do that is through more effective presentations, speeches, and all things alike. So our first point here is going to span across all groups that you talk to, and it's being authentic. You can really tell when someone's not being authentic when they're speaking to you. Sometimes we don't really know why, but we just know it's there. These are the 4 things that you can do to be authentic, though. It's being open and passionate, listening to your audience, and intending to connect. These can be a little tough to do, especially when you're talking to diverse groups of people. It's really hard to tailor and drastically swing your talk so much, but they're definitely necessary. The biggest one for me here is to be open. And this relates to listening to your audience. And by listening to your audience, you're going to be able to feel the energy in the room and gauge how you're presenting and how you're speaking, which will also tie into our linguistic styles we'll talk about a little later. A couple things to be aware of, though. Some of the pitfalls of being authentic or trying to be authentic is memorizing what you're doing. And memorizing your body language, this ties into timing your talk. All of these things really make what you're saying rigid and ineffective. People, they're going to disconnect, and you really need to understand that as well. We'll get into our next point here, which is a little trickier because authenticity works across all people, and you don't need to tailor it too much. Here's Alicia.
So you can use different linguistic styles to tailor your talk towards certain groups of people. Different backgrounds, race, and gender have different linguistic styles. Different characteristics would be your rate of speed, your degree of loudness, and your tone of voice. And the other key factor is the construction of your words, your greetings, whether you're being indirect or not being indirect, giving proper feedback in different ways, and avoiding opposition or using opposition to help other people. Now, Lucas and I will demonstrate different conversation rituals from different countries.
And this is a great way to scratch the surface on the deeply rooted linguistic styles that you can see across cultures and other diverse groups as well, not between cultures. So to set the scene here, I'm going to play the random stranger, and Alicia is going to act as, say, you walking down the street. All right. And go. What's up?
Nothing.
Cut. And that's it. That's not weird. I think that's happened to me about 3 times today. Do you have a count?
4 times today.
4 times. Amazing. Looks like they're a little more popular. But let's switch over to the Philippines dialogue here. Set the scene again. Let's switch. Let's get a little practice on the other end of the roles. Wonderful. So I'll be the random stranger, and I'll be playing you walking down the street, okay? So,
Where are you going?
over there. So that might seem weird to us because we're living in the United States. But these are synonymous interactions that you'll find. If you were to be, say, from the Philippines operating in the US, you'd say this to someone, but the reaction would be totally different. We don't expect anyone to ask us where we're going. We find it a little invasive, a little weird even. So we wanted to show you the surface and the most obvious examples of how these feel across cultures. And to wrap it up, again, we just want to go over the last 3 things you need to do. Identifying your group is step 1. From there, you can be authentic easily, but then you need to tailor your linguistic style to that group. Back to those things we showed you, how you construct your sentences, your tone of voice, your rate of speed, and everything in between. So with that, I hope this can provide the tools to be more authentic, and you can relate to your diverse groups when you're presenting to recruit more. Thank you.
Questions?
As a matter of fact, we do have one.
Wonderful.
First of all, as assigned, you guys focused on how to increase diversity within the League of Women Voters, which was the assignment. Here comes the question. Lady from the League of Women Voters talking. Now, on March the 3rd this year, the U.S. House of Representatives passed the For the People Act, H.R. 1. Chris Carson, you may have noticed, our president of the National Board, said that this landmark legislation is the biggest improvement of our democracy since the Voting Rights Act of 1965, right? Did I? Oh, good. Virginia Case, our CEO, are you cool? Said the league works tirelessly to make sure that every eligible voter has their voice heard in every election. She added that a healthy democracy is one in which everyone has their voice heard. What we're wondering is, how do you think we, the League of Women Voters, can use the ideas that you've talked about today to successfully increase the participation of the diverse population of potential voters here in the United States? Because, like, for example, in the last election, only 40% of people voted.
40%, that's a striking figure for sure. You can't force anyone to vote. For me, passion is really fueling, and when we go back to our slide on how to be authentic, that's one of our key points, one of the 4 there. When I listen to someone speak and their passion and what they're trying to accomplish, even if it doesn't exactly align with my own beliefs, it really fires me up and it promotes me to act further then. I hope that will be the biggest key that you guys can rely on, is to really showcase that passion and bring your most motivational and driven speakers to, if not recruit to the League of Women Voters, but to encourage voting nonetheless. So maybe if you're not recruiting, you're also saying, nonetheless, show your voice, let it be heard.
And I think there's different linguistic styles that you can cater towards. If you're somewhere like Maine, you're going to be talking to them in a different way than you would be talking to somebody in Texas. And I think figuring out how to cater towards them is a very good way to help them understand what you're saying, and then get feedback on what you need to change and differentiate.
And that passion can come through across better or worse depending on the linguistic style in the area. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, you did a good job with it. Well done.